Florida Key Reefs have changed dramatically over the past several decades as the combination of coral diseases, hurricanes, and most recently high seawater temperatures have killed reef-building hard corals. But what is growing on the remnants of coral reefs in the Florida Keys? To answer that question, this video will show you what Looe Key Reef looks like as of December of 2024. Looe Key Reef is offshore and directly south of Summerland Key, about 3/4 of the way from Key Largo to Key West. In the 1960s and 70s, it was noted for very dense, hard coral cover. We are starting this visit in the shallowmost part of the reef. The tops of these spur formations are in only 1 to 2 meters of water and were originally built by dense stands of elkhorn coral. Most of the elkhorn died of disease in the 1980s and 90s, and attempts to restore elkhorn coral in the past decade were dealt a terrible setback in the summer of 2023 when seawater temperatures exceeded 30 degrees Celsius for many days. Other organisms survived, however, including the purple sea fans and the leathery Palithoa coral that dominates the reef surface at this depth. Unlike hard coral species, neither forms a limestone skeleton, so they do not build the reef. One positive change over the past few decades on this reef is that the abundance of large fishes has greatly increased after years of enforcement by the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary, within which Looe Key Reef is a special protected area. Because of this protection, particularly from spearfishing, very large parrotfishes are now abundant on this reef and are unafraid of divers. Constant grazing by parrotfishes keeps the reef free of seaweed, but it also degrades the remaining coral skeletons, with the sand and the parrotfish feces joining the sandy grooves between the hard spurs. Grazing by this school of midnight parrotfish results in distinct scraping noises underwater. Ambient sound is provided for this segment. Moving deeper, we notice less purple sea fans and encounter the next most common animal on Florida's reefs, the giant barrel sponge. These sponges are living at only 3 to 5 meters depth, and they survived the high seawater temperatures of the summer of 2023. Here you see giant barrel sponges among the remaining skeletons of staghorn corals, the species that once dominated at this depth. These dead skeletons are all that remains of years of transplanting living staghorn fragments to this reef. Surprisingly, not all the species that used to live on this reef are gone. Below and to the right of the barrel sponge is a colony of fire coral, and the green colony to the left is Porites. These have somehow survived the high temperatures. Why some individual colonies have survived is the subject of great interest among coral biologists. Up ahead is the remains of a Montastria hard coral. Here is a fairly large Orbicella hard coral. And here's a single Diploria colony, right there. Now we've moved further offshore to 15 to 25 meters depth. Visibility is reduced by sediment in the water and shimmer from the mixing of cold and warm water. The hard bottom here was once dense stands of heads of living Orbicella and Diploria hard corals. Growing on the old coral skeletons, you can see the recently bleached skeletons of lettuce corals and remarkable numbers of young giant barrel sponges, including many babies the size of tennis balls and smaller. If giant barrel sponges remain resilient to higher seawater temperatures, they will become the dominant habitat-forming animals on Florida's reefs of the future. The camera lights disturb a resting hawksbill turtle, another conservation success story. These turtles were rarely seen in decades past, but now juveniles like this one are increasingly common on Florida's reefs. Thanks for watching.